I never thought being kind could make someone hate me. I'm Sarah Chen, and my story begins with an act of kindness that changed everything. Growing up, I was the family disappointment, not because I did anything wrong, but because I wasn't ambitious enough according to my parents' standards. While my sister Jessica graduated from law school and my brother Michael became a successful surgeon, I chose to work at a small animal shelter. What a waste, Mom would say during family dinners. With your grades, you could have been something. Dad wouldn't even look at me. At least your siblings make us proud. But Aunt Linda saw me differently. She was the black sheep of the family, a successful businesswoman who never married or had children. While my parents saw my work at the shelter as beneath our family status, Aunt Linda understood. Kindness is rare in this world, Sarah, she'd tell me during our weekly coffee dates. Never let anyone make you feel small for having a big heart. I didn't know then that Aunt Linda was watching, observing how my family treated me versus my siblings. She saw how Jessica and Michael received expensive gifts and praise. While I got criticism and hand-me-downs, she noticed how I still showed up to every family event, helped with every crisis, and never complained. The day everything changed started normally enough. I was at work, cleaning kennels, when I got the call. Aunt Linda had collapsed at her office. By the time I reached the hospital, she was gone. A sudden heart attack, they said. The funeral was a somber affair, but I noticed something odd. While my family shed tears, they kept glancing at Aunt Linda's lawyer, Mr. Thompson. When he announced there would be a will reading the next day, my parents practically tripped over themselves, ensuring everyone would attend. The next morning, we gathered in Mr. Thompson's office. My parents sat front and center, Jessica and Michael flanking them like royal guards. I took a seat in the back, still processing my grief. Before I begin, Mr. Thompson said, adjusting his glasses, Linda left a video message. The screen flickered to life, and there was Aunt Linda, looking directly at us. If you're watching this, I'm gone. But I've watched long enough to know who deserves my legacy. My family leaned forward eagerly. I've seen who shows genuine kindness and who wears it like a mask. I've seen who values money over love and who gives love without expecting anything in return. She paused, smiling. That's why I'm leaving my entire estate, my company, properties, and assets, to my niece Sarah. The room exploded. What? Mom shrieked. This can't be legal. Jessica jumped up. She works at a shelter. Michael protested. But Aunt Linda wasn't finished. Sarah has something money can't buy, a genuine heart. The rest of you, she shook her head. You've shown your true colors over the years. Mr. Thompson paused the video. The estate is valued at approximately $89 million. All legal documentation is in order. I sat there stunned as my family turned to me with looks that could freeze hell. You manipulated her, Mom hissed. You must have tricked her somehow, Jessica added. Dad stood up, his face red. No daughter of mine would steal from her siblings like this. I didn't, I started, but Michael cut me off. Then prove it. Sign it over to us. We're the ones who deserve it. When I didn't immediately agree, all hell broke loose. They screamed, threatened, and finally delivered their ultimatum. Either you sign over the inheritance or you're no longer part of this family, Dad declared. I looked at each of their faces, people I'd loved my whole life despite their treatment of me. Aunt Linda's words echoed in my mind. Never let anyone make you feel small for having a big heart. Standing up, I squared my shoulders. Then I guess I'm not part of this family anymore. That night, I packed my belongings as my family watched, hurling insults and threats. As I walked out the door, Mom's words followed me. You'll come crawling back when you realize you can't handle this responsibility. Little did they know, Aunt Linda had been preparing me for years. Those weekly coffee dates weren't just chats. They were lessons in business, finance, and leadership. She'd seen my potential when everyone else saw a disappointment. I checked into a hotel that night, my head spinning with everything that had happened. Mr. Thompson had given me a letter from Aunt Linda before I left his office. Dear Sarah, it read, if you're reading this, they show their true colors. Don't let their darkness dim your light. I've left you everything because I know you'll use it to make the world better. It's time to spread your wings, little bird. Show them what kindness combined with power can do. That night, as I laid in the hotel bed, I made a promise to myself and to Aunt Linda. I would prove that kindness wasn't weakness. I would show them all that having a big heart didn't mean having a small mind. Little did my family know, their actions that day wouldn't break me, they would transform me into someone they never saw coming. The next 3 months were a whirlwind. While my family thought I was struggling, I was building something extraordinary. Aunt Linda hadn't just left me money, she had left me a vision. Her company, Phoenix Enterprises, had a little-known charitable division. With Mr. Thompson's guidance, I expanded it into something unprecedented, a network of high-tech animal hospitals providing free care to low-income families. I threw myself into learning everything about business. During the day, I attended board meetings and made decisions that would have terrified me before. At night, I studied financial reports and business strategies until my eyes burned. But I never forgot my roots. Every weekend, I still volunteered at shelters. Though now I could do more than clean kennels. I funded renovations, paid for medical treatments, and created programs to help people keep their pets during financial hardships. The media caught wind of my story when our first major hospital opened. Shelter worker turned CEO revolutionizes pet care, made headlines across the country. I was invited to speak on morning shows about our mission. That's how my family discovered what I'd been up to. I was live on Good Morning America, discussing our latest initiative, when my phone started buzzing with texts and calls. My family had seen a confident woman in a tailored suit talking about combining business success with social responsibility. The messages started rolling in. Mom, sweetheart, we should talk. Jessica, you look amazing. Coffee soon. Michael, hey sis, remember when we were close? Dad, I always knew you had it in you. I ignored them all. 2 days later, they showed up at my office. The security team alerted me immediately. Aunt Linda had warned me this might happen. Should we send them away, Ms. Chen? My assistant asked. I thought for a moment. No, send them up. When they walked in, their jaws dropped. My office occupied the top floor of a gleaming skyscraper, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Awards and press coverage lined the walls. A photo of Aunt Linda and me sat prominently on my desk. Sarah, Mom started, tears in her eyes. We've been so worried. Have you? I kept my voice neutral. Or did you see me on TV and realize you made a mistake? We were wrong, Dad admitted, looking uncomfortable in his suit. We should have supported you. Jessica stepped forward. We're family. Family sticks together. I couldn't help but laugh. Family? You kicked me out. Called me a thief. Said I'd never amount to anything. We were shocked, Michael argued. You can't blame us for being surprised. Surprised? I stood up, my hands flat on my desk. You weren't surprised. You were greedy. You couldn't stand that someone you looked down on might succeed. That's not fair, Mom protested. Fair? I picked up a folder from my desk. Like how you're trying to contest Aunt Linda's will? Yes, Mr. Thompson told me. They had the decency to look ashamed. I've done more in 3 months than you thought I could do in a lifetime, I continued. Not because of the money, but because someone believed in me. Aunt Linda saw what you never did. We see it now, Dad said quietly. Too late. I pressed a button on my desk. Security will escort you out. Don't try to contact me again. As they were led away, I heard Mom crying. Part of me ached. They were still my family, but Aunt Linda's words rang in my ears. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk away. The next few years transformed Phoenix Enterprises. We expanded globally, opening animal hospitals in underserved communities worldwide. I launched scholarships for veterinary students willing to work in low-income areas. The shelter where I started became our flagship training center. My family tried reaching out several times. Christmas cards, birthday gifts, even a tearful video message about how proud they were of me. I sent everything back unopened. Then one day, 5 years after the inheritance, I received news that changed everything. The shelter where I used to work was on fire. I rushed there immediately. Standing in the rain, watching firefighters battle the blaze, I saw familiar faces in the crowd. My family was there, covered in soot. They'd been helping evacuate the animals. We volunteer here now, Jessica explained when she saw me. Have been for 2 years. We wanted to understand what you saw in this place. Michael nodded. These animals, they love unconditionally. Like you always did. Mom stepped forward, holding a trembling rescue dog. We were wrong, Sarah. Not just about the money. About everything. For the first time in 5 years, I really looked at them. They changed. There was humility in their eyes, dirt under their manicured nails, and genuine concern for the animals. The shelter will need to be rebuilt, I said finally. We'll help, Dad offered. However we can. I thought about Aunt Linda, about kindness and second chances. There's a lot of work to do, I said. Are you sure you're ready for that? They nodded, and this time, I believed them. We rebuilt the shelter together, bigger and better than before. It wasn't easy. Years of hurt don't heal overnight. But slowly, through shared work and genuine effort, we found a new kind of family bond. Not based on money or status, but on something Aunt Linda always valued: actions over words. Today, Phoenix Enterprises is more than just a company. It's a testament to what happens when kindness meets opportunity. My family works alongside me now, not as entitled relatives, but as people who had to earn their places. And on my desk, next to Aunt Linda's photo, sits a new picture. All of us at the shelter's reopening, surrounded by the animals we help. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest inheritances aren't measured in money, but in the lessons that transform us. Aunt Linda was right. Kindness isn't weakness, it's the strength to change the world, one heart at a time.